Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I just wanted to do another portfolio update. Sorry it's been about 3 weeks since my last update. Just been busy with work and other things. Before we get into the video, if you don't mind hitting that like and subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it. So over the last 3 months, we are up almost about $3,500, so pretty good, about almost 25% in total. A lot of that has come from my Ethereum position, as I've talked about in other videos. And then my Google position actually took a pretty big jump today, and we'll look at that in the charts here in a sec. But you can see from the last video, I actually reduced and got rid of some positions. I got out of the UPS position, and I'll explain that here in a second why I did that. But overall, nothing has changed too much. I'm still just holding Google, Amazon, Oscar, and AMD. I also have an options position going on right now, and I'll explain that once we get into the charts here. So. Overall market, it's kind of still been grinding higher. We're starting to see a little bit of weakness, starting to see, that we could possibly be putting in a little bit of a top here, intermittent, not anything long term, I think, but maybe there's a possibility that we can see some downside. You can see here I've been talking about over the last 2 or 3 videos these two green lines here that I'm looking to see if maybe the market's going to pull back to this level here. The area that I'm more interested in is on the NASDAQ. I talked about this in the last couple videos as well. This area here is where I'm looking to possibly put on some long-term risk, at least into the end of the year, if the market continues to kind of fall off and start to drop down to this level. So we'll see what happens here. Tech has been a little bit weak after the NVIDIA earnings, so hopefully with September seasonality naturally being a time where the market is vulnerable to weakness, maybe we'll be able to get this drop into this area here. That I'm looking for. So we'll see what happens, but that's as far as I'm looking at with the markets right now. Let me go ahead and get into some of the positions here. So Google didn't do too much to the position. You can see here, I think there was some news about a lawsuit that they're not going to be pursuing against Google anymore. So that's what this big rally is after hours. Amazon, still no position added here. I'm still just writing what position I have in Amazon. AMD, still nothing. I want to talk about why I have this box here. So this shaded box, or I guess this yellow box, is an area where I'm looking to put some risk on. So if the market continues to roll over, tech starts to really slide here. If AMD can get back down into this like 135-ish range, anywhere in here, even a little bit maybe above, even getting close to 140, I'm going to start putting some money to work here and buying some additional shares of AMD. I think that's a substantial pullback from it hitting like almost $187 to get it back down to 140 or 130s. That's a pretty good pullback, so that's something that I definitely will keep you guys updated on. If the market over the next couple weeks starts to roll over, I'm looking to add in this area. Oscar, I'm not looking to add anything to the position. I did at some point reduce the position a little bit. I think I had 150 shares at one point. I put it down to 100. I wanted to raise some cash because I know September sometimes is seasonally weak. If some of these big time stocks start to roll over, I want to establish positions in them. So not saying I don't like the stock or I don't believe in the long-term vision of it or like the chart. I just was looking to raise some cash. Ethereum, nothing really new going on here. I had talked about in a prior video it coming back and testing this downtrend line. Still hasn't got there. I still have an alert. Oh, I thought I had an alert. Let me actually update that because usually it'll show this little box will be, oh, it expired. That's why. So let me just update this. All right. There we go. So it'll let me know when we get back and we back test this trend line here. I don't think I'm going to add to the position. I'm comfortable where I'm at here. I may buy the other quarter of a coin just to go fully at one coin. But we'll see. We'll see what I'm feeling at that point. Now into the options position that I had told you guys about. So I'm in Baidu here. China names look really good. I can run over really quick after I look at this chart the KWEB, which is basically the QQQ of Chinese stocks. That would be, KWEB is just basically the ETF that tracks like some of the biggest tech companies for China and stuff. So you can see here this long-term trend line. This stems back to February of 23. You can see here multiple tests. So there's 1, 2, 3. Oh, I should have had that locked. And 4, almost 5 basically. And now we're testing it again on 6. You can see here I have the 200-day moving average as well. So it's been slowly grinding up above this 200-day moving average. It looks ready. So I'm taking a little bit of risk. The contract that I bought is, so it's buy to $100 call. So we're not far from being in the money on the call. And I have a ton of time. So I bought the call for next March. I did that with the idea that I'm going to let this play. I'm going to give it about 6 months because there's a chance that, it could reject again at this trend line. It could chop around here. If you don't buy options far enough out, the decay will kill you with any intraday volatility or anything like that. Your contracts are going to get just completely destroyed. So by buying time, you're kind of protecting yourself against that short-term volatility and premiums possibly getting crushed. So, but I would like to maybe see this by, at least get up here to this 107. Realistically, a good target would be this 120 range. That would probably be a good area to look to maybe possibly scale out of that position. That's initially where I'm thinking. As far as where I would probably just say, the position's not working is if it comes back down to this 200-day around $87, so that's about $10 lower, and doesn't hold, I'm going to just cut the position. That's just plain and simple. As far as UPS, so I know I was in the position last time. This isn't an accurate reflection of the position I'm in. I paper trade just on trading view just for fun, just to kind of use it as something. So that's what this is showing right here. It's not accurate as far as like this is my own capital that I have to work at all. So but I had talked about it coming down and testing this COVID low here right around like $81. It's possible that I may buy some options, like maybe some long-term option leaps in the stock, maybe 1 to 2 years out. But I don't necessarily know if I'm going to buy shares again. I just think that right now I can put the other money to better stocks that have better performance records than, like I talked about, trying to catch a bottom, which is what I was trying to do. But I just decided to get out a couple weeks ago, leave the cash there, and I'm waiting to put it to work. So there's nothing to do. You can see here, this is just the laundry list of other stocks that I'm kind of looking at here. United Healthcare never got down to that level, this green box that I was looking for. If it does, I'll be ready to buy some shares. But until then, I'm not really making any moves. Now, the one thing I wanted to do was go over the biggest players in AI. So you can see here, I have this watch list that is just labeled AI. So you can see here, NVIDIA has slowly kind of started to roll over. Once again, very similar to AMD. I would probably be a buyer here if it came down back and back tested this like November 21 high, Jan 20 or Jan 7th high. So anywhere in this like 152, even if it's sunk down here into like the 140s, I probably would buy a little bit more. Broadcom, same thing. You can see here, nice level as well that I would be interested in buying. So a lot of these stocks, all I've done is just plot out levels that I'm interested in possibly buying shares in if the market continues to become weak. If it doesn't, and these stocks just keep going higher, then I'll wait. I'm not in any rush to buy any of these. When they start to roll over and show some weakness, that's the opportunity. But if you don't have a plan, if you don't have anywhere on the chart and you're just buying blindly, then you're asking for trouble depending on what your risk tolerance is. If you're looking to just swing trade it, or you're trying to day trade it, or you're a long-term investor, it all just depends. Microsoft really looks good here too. I really like this chart as well. The anchored VWAP from the April 7th low, which was that tariff low, will be right around the same level here. So if Microsoft can drop, what is this, another $30, another good stock to possibly continue to like start to build into the portfolio. So keep in mind when I'm talking about these positions, these are positions that I plan on starting to build out for years. Not anything that I'm going to keep for a year and maybe sell. These are 5 to 10 year stocks that I'm planning to start to build out positions in on weakness. I'm not planning to try and chase anything at the highs. I'm waiting to see if we can get some market weakness, get a pullback, maybe 5 to 10%, and then put some cash to work. You can see here on Amazon, Tesla, I just haven't found anywhere attractive that I really, really love, so I don't have anything on those. Same thing with Okolo and Mew, I still don't have anything. So if I'm being honest, TSM is probably the biggest position that I want to build out. If it can get into this 200 level, I'd really, really like to buy. Same thing with Broadcom. If I can get Broadcom to get back down into like this 256 level, these are the two positions that I'm looking to really add to the portfolio heavily. Even Meta would be a good one, or Microsoft, but TSM and Broadcom are the main players here. So real quick before we wrap this up, I just wanted to go over the KWEB because I had briefly mentioned that as the Chinese QQQ ETF basically. So let me see here, where is it? Here we go. So you can see here that it's had this massive base. You had this massive run, sorry my mouse is being a little funny, massive run up from the COVID low. Then we topped out here in February of 21, had this massive downfall. And you can slowly see, you've just kind of been carving out a bottom here, making, higher lows, respecting this uptrend line as well. And then you've had this resistance here. You've had some resistance here. You had support, tons of support on this level here. So what is this? This 38.65. But a lot of support here, support, some support, broke through, acted as resistance, and now we're just kind of coiling up here. I think it's going to break higher. I haven't initiated a position. My gut is telling me to really get in this pretty heavy here, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure how it's going to react if the overall market has some weakness. So I'm kind of just waiting and seeing. If it breaks through this level here that it's already rejected 1, 2, 3 or 4 times, give or take, I would rather just let it go and then come back and retest and then buy some shares. Because then I can set some defined risk. If I'm buying right here, I don't really know specifically where I'm going to set a stop loss or where I could be wrong in this trade. With that Baidu position, I had already figured out, okay, I'm going to know where I'm wrong, where I'm right before I even bought that option contract. Here, I don't really know where I would necessarily be wrong because I don't want to hold this. This isn't something that I'm going to try and hold for 5 to 10 years. It could do well for 5 to 10 years, but it's just not in my plan of what I want to look for to add to my portfolio. So it was more of a swing trade. But I'll keep you guys updated. We'll see what ends up happening if I end up taking maybe some option contracts in it 6 months to a year out, or if I actually buy some shares. But that's my overall plan right now. I just don't have anything that I see that I love as far as a good defined risk to reward from this chart. But it does look great. I'm not saying go out and buy it. I'm just saying that the chart looks good. It looks like it's ready to go. The other reason why it looks great is because Alibaba also looks great, the chart overall. So this is a big weighted factor. One of the I think it's the second biggest stock in KWEB. So if Alibaba continues to start to perform really well and rally really hard, then KWEB will also rally really hard. So it's kind of basically, think of it as NVIDIA for QQQ. BABA would be up there as the second highest stock for KWEB. So but that's all I've got. We'll see what happens. We'll probably try and do another video next week and just update you guys. We'll see what happens with the market here. Like I said, I'm really hoping that we get some good weakness and we can get down into this level and hopefully, some stocks are at a good attractive price to put some money to work. So, all right, guys, see you later.